بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us the opportunity to be in His house, to start our day with the Masjid, and to be amongst those people who will be giving testimony of their faith. Having to start the day with the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's a sign of one's faith. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give us the opportunity and the ability to continue to serve this cause and to be amongst those who are being the testifier of their faith. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. When a person, he goes through different challenges of this world, and then he looks upon his challenges and considers that I have gone through so many challenges in my life, one has made the other challenge easier. So each time when a person goes from one struggle to another struggle, the previous struggle looks very easy because the person, he's not accustomed to that struggle, so at that time he thinks this is the most difficult situation. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him a relief. Allah Azza wa Jal takes him out from those hurdles, and then eventually he moves on and another hurdle comes in his life. And this is how the life of an individual continues. But there are certain things that a person needs to understand, that to make me a better individual, to make me a better person in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what are the struggles that I need to look into? When a person thinks that I want to have a success in this dunya, I go through different struggles to make sure that I have certain status. I go through a certain aspects of my life and earn certain amount of money in my life, so then I can get to another stage in my life and have comfort. But when a person looks into his life, that at the end of the day, whatever investment you have done in your life, in your worldly affairs, at the end of the day, he goes and a person loses, and at the end he kind of figures out that this was not the right investment for me. I'm going to share a very recent story with you. In my travels, when I was visiting Pakistan for my father's health, there was a mutual friend of my father who had another friend who was also visiting from US, somewhere from Washington. And his intention to travel to Pakistan to invest in a business. He was an old person, same age as my dad, around 70. So he purchased a house and start living in this house. He had a driver for him, a person who would take care of the chores of the day, a person will come and cook food and everything. And he bought this property in the outskirts of Karachi where he's going to build a luxury apartments. So he's working towards that. And a few days later, when my father was admitted in the hospital, this mutual friend, he was asking, and he knew that I arrived there. He was asking about my father, how was he doing, etc. The other person who was also visiting from US, he got affected by COVID and he was also admitted in the hospital. And the mutual friend of my father, he was telling me the story. He said how unfortunate this individual is, multimillionaire. I'll have a lot of money invested in all over the world, right? And he has so much investment in the US, so much investment overseas. But not a single son of his came to visit him. He had 3 sons, no one came to visit him. He got admitted in the hospital due to COVID, and after that, within a few days, he died. He passed away. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And now, all of the 3 sons travel to Pakistan just so that they can take care of his money and all the properties that he owned, and they can take their own shares. So this was an eye-opener. This was an eye-opener. That a person, he goes through so many struggles. He's in his 70s and he is investing in a business looking for another 50 years of his life savings. And all of that, what is this reason for? A person invests, he makes money. Why? So he can have a peaceful life. His children can have peaceful life. They can live according to the standards of the world. But at the end of the day, when you are on your deathbed and not a single son of yours comes to visit you, this is a great loss. خَسِرَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. As Allah mentions in the Quran, it's a loss that a person, he goes through. So this is, when you travel, when you go through different places of the world, Allah Azza wa Jal gives you signs. He gives you eye-opening stories. And a person thinks, and this poor person, I'm confident that this person, maybe COVID had to do a lot of his health, but majority of the situation, he died because of being sad. That I am in this condition and none of my family members are willing to come and be there with me. And be there at the time of this difficult situation. He died because of this. Invested so much time of his life just to make sure that his family, his children, his kids have a luxury life, a better life. But unfortunately, at the time when he was about to die, no one was there for him. So today, I have to look into my life that where is my investment going? Is my investment for the worldly affairs and only to gain worldly things? That at the time when I leave from this world, there is not even a single person who would make dua for me? I have not taught my children the purpose of life, the cause of serving the deen of Allah, and especially serving parents. These are all factors that we all need to consider. Because every single individual has to go through that bridge. He has to go through that path that we are going to leave from this world. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those that we invest our time and effort in those things which are meaningful for us in this dunya and in the life of hereafter. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to save us from investing our time and effort and wealth in those things which have no meaning for us in this dunya and in the life of hereafter. آمين يا رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحان الله وبحمده. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك.